Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my Endless Diary Tales channel? Thank you so much. Riedel's first love crashed into me while drunk driving, leaving me disabled and unable to hold a scalpel again. I refused to settle, and in his anger, he abandoned me on the highway. That night, amid thunder and rain, I limped home on my injured leg, only to find the two of them tightly embracing on the living room sofa. He looked at me, his gaze unapologetic. Mare is afraid of thunder. I didn't make another scene, just carried my plaster-casted hand back to the room. Blood trickled down my calf onto the white carpet, glaringly conspicuous. Yet no one cared. But it doesn't matter anymore. I took out my tablet and booked a flight abroad. Yet standing under the shower, I still couldn't hold back my tears. The hot water washed away the chill. Yet I still felt so cold. Never before had I imagined that Riedel, who once braved snowstorms to pick me up from work late at night, would one day abandon me, still injured on the highway. After my shower, I dried my tears, calmly took out the cold medicine and swallowed it, then applied ointment to my knees. After long stretches of clear skies, rain always comes unexpectedly, and I learned long ago to run in the rain. It's all the same. Bang, bang, bang. Late at night, knocking sounds came from outside the house. It was most likely Riedel. During this period, no matter how intimate he and Magu were, he would always rush back to sleep before dawn. Even during the half-month I was hospitalized, it was the same. It seemed he believed this could prove their innocence. I'm exhausted and don't feel like dealing with anything. But unable to bear his persistent knocking, I had no choice but to get up and open the door. The moment he stepped in, he angrily shouted at me. "Why did you lock the door? And don't you know how to take a taxi? Did you deliberately make yourself look so pathetic just to gain sympathy? As an orphan, I don't know who would sympathize with me even if I acted anyway." The current Riedel wouldn't do that anymore. He must have seen the blood on the carpet, suppressing the rising bitterness in my heart. I silently handed him the phone from the bedside table. The phone screen was shattered like a spiderweb. It was thrown by Riedel when he forced me out of the car. He pressed the power button stubbornly, but when it still wouldn't turn on, he finally fell silent. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." I cut him off. "It's fine. You can leave now. I need to rest." "Thank you." Hearing this, the man's face darkened again. "Seichu, must you make such a scene? I've told you I treat Maju like a sister." My head was throbbing painfully and all I wanted was to sleep. But this person kept bothering me, stirring up my temper. A sister in bed. Riedel raised his hand high. "We're not as filthy as you think." My eyes instantly reined. "Go ahead and hit me. It's already filthy. We've kissed and hugged. Isn't that filthy enough? If the two of you are innocent, then Maji, you should be in jail right now, not in your home." Riedel's brows furrowed deeply and without hesitation, he retorted with thunder this loud. "Do you have any idea how terrified Maju must be in a place like that? Why should I care what the woman who ruined my marriage and destroyed my career is afraid of?" He added, "Maju kissing me was an accident. She was drunk. I've explained this many times. Talking to this person is like playing the lute to a cow." Realizing this, I limped forward and pushed him out. But Riedel still wouldn't let me off. His lips moved, each word cutting like a knife in our circle. Who hasn't had their share of incidents? In the end, it's always money that settles things. Maju, a young lady from a wealthy family, willingly spent 8 days in jail just to make you happy. She's lost her reputation. What more do you want? What do I want? I studied medicine for 8 years, worked for 3, and was about to become the youngest surgical director in the hospital's history. Her 8 days can equal my 11 years. Before I could question this, I blacked out in anger. Staying in the hospital only reminds me of my shattered dreams, so I checked out early yesterday. I never thought I'd be back in the hospital so soon. Beside the pillow lay the latest model of a Fruit brand phone in Ma's favorite pink color. I glanced at the time. It was almost noon. From yesterday afternoon until now, I've only taken 2 cold pills and I'm starving. I unwrapped the packaging of my phone, thinking about ordering takeout. The door suddenly swung open. Riedel came in holding a bowl of lean pork and vegetable porridge. "Just woke up at the right time. Don't move." I borrowed the hospital kitchen to cook this porridge. It's still hot. Let me feed you. I lowered my eyes and didn't argue with him. Take good care of your injury. I'll keep my distance from Maju in the future, so you won't have to worry. After just a few bites, his phone rang. It was the piano piece Maria Diamar, Ma's exclusive ringtone. The call background is also a photo of Maju in a white dress playing the piano. After just 2 notes, he answered the phone, not even having time to put down the porridge. Brother Reed, help. On the phone, Ma's screams were piercing. I was startled and Reedloo reacted even more intensely. By the time I regained my composure, the bowl of scolding porridge in his hands had already spilled onto my lap. Have the caregiver clean this up. He spoke so fast that I couldn't make out what he was saying. With that, he walked away without even turning his head. I froze for a moment, then limped to the bathroom to splash cold water on myself. After nearly 10 minutes of splashing, the burning sensation in my chest finally subsided a little. I was drenched all over, but the porridge and vegetables stubbornly clung to my clothes. The wound on my knee split open again, staining my pants red. After a long while, I leaned against the wall and slowly crouched down, hugging myself as I murmured, Sadshu, you didn't do anything. So why are you in such a sorry state, covering my face? I shook my head as tears streamed through my fingers over and over. I don't know. And Sage, she doesn't know either. Sage, why are you in the bathroom? Oh my God. What happened to you? I raised my teary eyes and saw senior sister Yuan's deeply concerned gaze, which only made my heart ache even more. I pressed my lips together several times before barely managing to speak coherently. It hurts a bit from the hot porridge, but it's okay. She pulled aside my collar, gasped at the sight below my collarbone. It's all red. I'll get some clothes and burn ointment. She left in a whirlwind. She had barely left when a group of people in nurse uniforms came bustling into the ward, but they weren't real nurses. The leader was Ju Shi, Ma's cousin, and also the #1 fan of the Maju and Reedloo pairing. The others following her were her lackeys. During the days Maju was in jail, she rushed to the hospital and screamed at me only to be thrown out by security in the end. TSK. How pathetic. Did you crawl out of a sore? You're both smelly and wet. Exactly. Only saw rats steal things. And she deliberately framed Sister Gio to go to jail. What a vicious schemer. They chatted away maliciously, holding up their phones to take pictures. I reached out, snatched Qureshi's phone, and then smashed it fiercely onto the ground. How dare you break my AR? The ward fell silent for a moment. You __, how dare you hit me? I grabbed Gyushi's hand. I'm pregnant. Do you really want to make your sister the mistress who caused the legal wife to Ms. Gar? The pregnancy was a lie, but it clearly worked. Gyoshi reluctantly withdrew her hand. Her face flushed with anger as she shouted, the one who isn't loved is the real mistress. After speaking, she pulled out another phone from her bag. She turned it on and shoved it in my face. My sister and brother Lo are true love. I paused for a moment, then took the phone. What Magu showed me was her WeChat moments. Her moments are set to be visible for only 3 days, and now only 2 posts can be seen. One was from last night. She posted a picture of lightning and thunder with the caption, "We embrace each other in the storm." The other was posted half an hour ago. A 9-square grid featuring a Bishan puppy wearing a birthday crown, herself in a princess dress, and Reedloo smiling beside her with cake all over his face. Caption, a little trick. Willing fish take the bait. Happy birthday Ching Tinjing. Ching Ting clear courtyard. Ma's little trick. Reedloo's chaos and panic utterly romantic. I smiled sarcastically, looked up at Gue and enunciated each word. Homewrecker. She stomped her foot in anger. You're the homewrecker. Brother Lu loves my sister. She viciously snatched back her phone, tapped a few times, then handed it to me again. Do you think having a child can tie Brother Lu down? You two were never from the same world to begin with. This time it was Reedloo's social media post. The most recent one was also half an hour ago. It's a group photo of the two of them with a little dog. Caption. You scared me to death. No more mischief next time. Happy birthday Ching Ting. Last night. He also posted on his moments without any pictures. Just text. Don't be afraid. I will protect you. From childhood to old age. from youth to white hair, until our souls vanish into the Milky Way. His social media posts weren't set to private. In the 6 months since Maju returned to the country, he posted nearly 100 updates about her, all of which were hidden from me. I skimmed through his posts at lightning speed. So that night, he didn't come to pick me up because he was taking Magu out for late-night snacks. Turns out his allergy to pet fur is selective, depending on who's involved. It turns out the roses I planted weren't cut by some passing brat, but was snipped by him to give to Magu. I thought his increased appetite was due to more workouts, but it was actually because he was eating for two. I was always worried about his stomach problems flaring up again, only to end up becoming a free-living cook. As I finished scrolling through this month's social media feed, senior sister Yuan returned with clothes and ointment. She darted in front of me in an instant, blocking my way, and angrily pointed at Jiushi. "It's you again. Are you a fly? Always buzzing around to defend. Meanwhile, Lai Chongyu and Shang Suan from the same department came over to help. I called the police. Although Jiushi and the others were minors, they had impersonated nurses to enter the hospital. So a stern lecture was unavoidable. She didn't take the phone and even said with absolute certainty as the police led her away, "Once you see how much Brother Le loves my sister, you'll give up for sure." I was left alone in the hospital room, numbly scrolling through the remaining unread posts on my social feed. On February 14th, Mila got drunk at a bar. She asked me why I wasn't spending Valentine's Day with her. I ran 2 red lights. I'd told her before. Just turn around and you'll see me. On February 3rd, Mila came back. I thought I had moved on, but the moment I saw her, I realized how much space she still occupied in my heart. Now though, I can only treat her as a little sister. On February 1st, she said she was coming back. But I'm already married. As I scrolled, I came across Reed Lu's social media post from the night before our wedding. A very important person from my past had Rh-negative blood. And so does she. So I thought I'd give it a try. This marriage was calculated from the very beginning. In the end, my tears fell into the wonton soup. I scooped up the wonton and put it in my mouth, only to realize it had gone cold and soggy. After a moment's hesitation, I flushed the cold wonton down the toilet and ordered a fresh batch. The new wontons arrived quickly, piping hot. A voice said to me, "Sad Shu, hot wontons are so much better than cold ones." So I picked up my phone and changed the flight to tomorrow. After finishing the wontons, I wheeled myself to the department to hand over work with my colleagues. As I kept busy, the sky darkened. By 10 o'clock, all the work handover was completed. At this moment, only I, senior sister Yuan, Shang Suan, and Lai Chongyu remained in the department. The 3 of us have worked together for 3 years now, not just as colleagues but as close friends. I pressed my lips together and told them I planned to go abroad tomorrow. The 3 of them exchanged glances, momentarily speechless. Seeing the atmosphere becoming heavy, Shang Suan stood up. "Let's take a few group photos." After taking more than a dozen shots, Shang Suan still couldn't pick one she was satisfied with. "If we're going to take photos, let's take the best ones. Let's go to a photo studio." Around midnight, the 3 of them took me back to the villa, knowing I wasn't in good shape. They even came inside to help me pack the luggage I needed to take with me tomorrow. Not long after they left, Reed Lu returned. "Seichu, where have you been? Why are you running around instead of staying in the hospital when you're injured? You wouldn't think that as long as the injury doesn't heal, I can keep staying with you, would you?" The living room was unlit, and Reed Lu couldn't be bothered to turn on the lights. It wasn't until he got closer that he noticed not only had I put on makeup, but I was also wearing a green strapless dress. Reed Lu stared at me intently, his eyes turning crimson with anger. "Seichu, you'd better not have cheated on me." I calmly looked back on the past, said goodbye to my colleagues, and took a few sets of photos. The anger on Reed Lu's face faded as he raised an eyebrow to examine me, his eyes revealing strong interest. "Your colleague has good taste. This dress suits you." I gave an absent-minded him without looking up, my fingers scrolling through my phone. Reed Lu was taken aback, thinking that saying goodbye to my colleagues had put me in a bad mood. "Let's hang out more often in the future, so our bond won't fade. Don't be sad. Being a doctor is not only exhausting, but also poorly paid and extremely busy. The hospital will run just fine without one less doctor. In the future, you can be like the other girls in our circle, enjoying afternoon tea and shopping. I'll take care of earning money, and you can focus on being beautiful. Isn't that great? As he spoke, his hand rested on my shoulder, his fingers caressing my skin. I stiffened for a moment, then pushed his hand away and wheeled my chair back half a meter. Then I turned around and headed toward the bathroom. I'm going to take a shower. Read Lu's tone. Rose, you're not mobile. Let me help you. I turned my head and looked at him unhappily. Did you save Magu? A hint of unease flickered in Reedlu Unk's eyes. His right pinky finger twitched slightly, a subconscious habit whenever he lied. The airbag deployed. Nothing too serious. By the way, were you scolded by the porridge? I glared at him. It's hot, so I'm angry until my anger subsides. You can sleep in the guest room. Early the next morning, Reedlu got up to make breakfast for me. A bowl of handmade beef noodles that looked exceptionally good. I had never eaten it before, but I had seen him make it for Maju. It was when Maju had just returned. And at that time, I thought they were just good friends. Seeing Reedlu personally making noodles, I casually asked him why he never made them for me before. He said, "It's too much trouble." Back then, we had a good relationship. So I naturally replied, "Then next time you make noodles for Magu, make me a portion too. I'll have tomato and egg noodles. No scallions or cilantro." But Reedlu still waved his hands repeatedly. Forget it. Using my time earning millions a month to make noodles for a little like you with a salary of just a few thousand is a total waste. Magu is a wealthy. Don't compare yourself to her. That was the first time I cried because of Mague coming back to my senses. Reedlu was looking at me expectantly, waiting for me to taste it. I took out my phone to take a photo, then looked up at him. I don't eat scallions or cilantro. A hint of impatience flickered in Reedlu's eyes, and when he spoke again, his tone was much worse than before. Then what do you eat? Tomato and egg noodles? He turned and walked into the kitchen. But in the end I still didn't get to taste the handmade noodles made by Reedlu, because I sent a photo of the beef noodles to Gyu Zai. Less than 5 minutes after sending the message, Reedlu was called away by Ma's phone call with my luggage in tow. I went to eat the tomato and egg noodles at the orphanage entrance. The orphanage had already relocated, but the taste of the tomato and egg noodles remained the same. After finishing the noodles, I took a car to the airport. The plane carved a beautiful arc across the sky. A month later, the cast on my right hand was removed. A new skin had grown over my knee. I got an internship as a teaching assistant at a research institute called Angel through an interview. I was at work when the orphanage director called. The elderly dean's voice trembled with excitement. "Sage, your biological parents have come for you. You were abducted. The woman who abandoned you wasn't your real mother." Yet, I felt no joy. Only a dazed numbness. Moments later, 2 unfamiliar voices came through the phone. "Sage, it's Mom. My poor daughter. You've suffered so much. Sage, I'm your father. Come back home and let me make it up to you." Okay. The childhood fantasy had come true at this moment, but I was no longer a child. The day I returned to Hisha, the sky was hazy. My biological parents came to pick me up, accompanied by a blonde-haired boy. When he saw me, the boy suddenly rushed over and gave me a big hug. His enthusiasm exaggerated like a golden retriever wagging its tail. "Second sister, I'm your biological brother. My name is Guyu." I frowned slightly. Not Gu as in ancient, but Gu as in to take care of. The boy answered me loudly. I abruptly stopped in my tracks and looked at this middle-aged couple. "You lied to me." I narrowed my eyes to scrutinize the pair, surprised to realize I had seen these 2 faces not long ago in Reedlu's social media posts celebrating Ma's birthday. "You are Ma's parents." The young man beside them was still out of the loop, looking utterly confused. "Mom, Dad, why are you lying?" "Second sister. How do you know our eldest sister?" I said calmly. "Isn't it normal for the first wife to know the mistress?" Mother Gu's face darkened for a moment. Father Gyu gave his wife a look while explaining to me. He said they lied to avoid misunderstanding and promised to better manage Magu in the future. Mother Gu chimed in. "Let's go home first. We'll talk about it later." I refused and asked them for the hair before the test results come out. I won't believe a single word they say. I checked into a hotel in the evening. I had dinner at the restaurant on the first floor of the hotel. Riedlu was like a piece of sticky gum I couldn't shake off. Appearing in front of me again, Sage Shu, why are you running around when you're pregnant? His voice was too loud, drawing the attention of everyone dining nearby. I was about to say I wasn't pregnant, but then I suddenly remembered what happened at the airport this afternoon. There was no way Riedlu didn't know about the Gu parents looking for me. Given his usual behavior, he should have gone to pick them up, but he just didn't go thinking of this. I picked up the orange juice and splashed it on Riedlu Unk's face. Since you're back and in good health, it's time to settle old scores. Sage Shu, what the hell is wrong with you? The mistress's relatives made such a scene at the hospital. Who wouldn't go crazy? As soon as I finished speaking, many people around turned to look at Riedlu with disdain in their eyes. The more meddlesome ones even took out their phones to record videos. Riedlu, always so proud, had never faced so many scornful gazes before. His face turned green with humiliation. Why are you picking on a bunch of kids? I never realized you were so petty and full of nonsense before. If it weren't for your pregnancy, I'd divorce you right now. I sneered, refusing to back down, even under Riedlu's disgusted and threatening glare. 8 16 or 17-year-olds disguised as nurses and barged into my hospital room while I was sick, forcing me to make way for true love. The police report spells it out clearly. Is that what you call being petty? A few murmurs rose from the crowd. This is called eliminating harm for the people. This is no child, but a hoodlum. Riedlu left behind an unreasonable remark and then fled in panic. The video shot by a passerby was reposted and spread by marketing accounts, surprisingly gaining quite some traction. Many netizens asked in the comment section who the other woman was. To satisfy everyone's curiosity, I paired the post with the most popular emotional music of the moment, Gentle Version, and shared screenshots of their social media moments on a certain platform. In less than a day, the video received over 1 million likes. Comment section. What kind of fairy tale love is this? So romantic, so dreamy. I pinned a comment in the section. The mistress you all asked about. Marketing accounts reposted the video as memes. Netizens who learned the truth instantly exploded with outrage, discussing the disgust level of shipping a couple only to find out it's a scumbag and his mistress. I won't say who chipped their tooth. These days, even shipping couples requires caution. 2 days passed and the test results came out. Ma's parents are indeed my biological parents as well in the villa dressed in a white gown. Ma Gu, as delicate as a jasmine flower, lay in Mrs. Gu's arms wiping away her tears for the university's anniversary celebration. She had meticulously prepared a 2-month piano solo performance, only to have it cancelled by the school authorities on the grounds of her poor personal conduct. Mr. Gu looked at me, then at the 2 burly men in sunglasses flanking me, his brows furrowing into a deep frown. Why did you bring 2 bodyguards? I blinked and retorted to Mr. Gu. Why do you think they're called bodyguards? Could someone who raised a daughter like Ma Guer really be model parents? Besides, Ma's parents becoming my parents. Even if it's true, it still feels eerie. Of course, I need to be extra cautious. Mother Gue looked up at me, a trace of disdain flickering in her eyes. We're your biological parents. Would we ever harm you? I shook my head vigorously, like a rattled drum. No, no, no. Just a few days ago, you were merely the parents of that home wrecker, having nothing to do with me at all. You've shared over 20 years of affection with that home wrecker, but there's no such bond between us. Hearing me repeatedly call her a home wrecker, the couple's faces turned alternately pale and purple with rage. Ma Ju remained silent, only lowering her head to sob incessantly. The boy looked at me, then at Ma Ju, his face full of irritation. Cry, cry, cry. Is that all you know how to do? I told you before not to cling to Riedlu. I don't get why you're so desperate to be the other woman, and you still want to perform a piano piece at my school. Are you trying to ruin me? If people find out I have a sister who's the other woman who would still hang out with me. Mother Ju glared at her son, but ultimately couldn't bring herself to scold him. Instead, she shot a glance at me, her daughter, who had just returned with an air of profound seriousness. We're all family here. Besides, there's an order to these things. Your sister knew Riedelu first. If we're talking about stealing, it's you who stole your sister's man. Ma didn't say anything, so don't be so stubborn. Your sister was supposed to perform a piano piece at her alma mater University's anniversary celebration attended by so many wealthy and famous people. It was a perfect chance to shine and you ruined it. Delete the video online for my sake. Your sister won't hold it against you this time. I looked coldly at Mother Gu. What you're saying really takes shamelessness to new heights, spinning in circles without a shred of decency. The noblewoman's face flushed red as she raised her finger to point at my nose. Ready to unleash a torrent of abuse, I stared straight at Gu's mother, prepared to counterattack at any moment. Enough. Gurnley rebuked her. He turned to look at me, putting on a fatherly demeanor. Mila was indeed in the wrong this time as compensation. Her allowance for the next year will all go to you. A whole year's allowance. I was so angry I almost laughed, unable to hide my sarcasm as I said, President Gu, what a bold statement. A whole year's allowance. What do you want then? Give me Mu's shares and I'll delete the video. Perhaps because the shares under Ma's name weren't significant. Father Gio hesitated for a moment before agreeing. Ma Ju never imagined she would suffer such great injustice and end up having to surrender her shares to the very person who caused it all. She looked up at me, breaking down as she said, "Do I have to die to atone before you'll let me go?" With that, she dashed out like the wind. Mrs. Gu anxiously chased after her, but I couldn't catch up, and soon it was back in my sight again. She looked at me with disgust. "Are you satisfied now?" I shook my head innocently. "The shares haven't been secured yet. What's there to be satisfied about?" Mother Gutes onto the sofa, panting heavily. I turned to look at Father Gu. Several entertainment accounts are waiting for my authorization. Since I can't be a doctor anymore, it's not bad to become an internet celebrity while the topic is hot, don't you think? Less than 2 hours after Ma Ju left, her shares were officially transferred to my name. I happily ate my fruit while directing the bodyguards to move the luggage to the largest room on the second floor. One bodyguard carried things in while another threw the existing items out just as they were nearly finished. Gu's mother, who had been searching fruitlessly, returned. She rushed over in a fury, trembling as she pointed at the pile of clothes and jewelry on the floor, utterly enraged. "That's Ma's room. How dare you throw me things out since you've already seized the shares? Isn't taking the room just a matter of convenience?" But on the surface, I still didn't tear off all pretenses because the Gu family was full of unknowns for me. And the fact that the Gu parents were in such a hurry and so cautious to trick me into returning to the country clearly indicated impure motives. Rather than keeping an unpredictable time bomb, it's better to take this opportunity to tackle each challenge as it comes with slightly re-ened eyes. I looked at Mother Gu. She is your daughter, but am I not? The career I've worked hard for over a decade was effortlessly destroyed by her. And my family was ruined by her too. No matter how wrong she feels, can it compare to mine? Mother Gue looked at me with a complicated expression. Guilty, embarrassed, and annoyed. But not a trace of remorse or heartache. Not even a little. Tears welled up uncontrollably again. I tugged at the corner of my mouth, self-mockingly abandoned at the orphanage gate as a child. And now abandoned on the highway by my husband after marriage. Sage Shu, isn't this enough? Do you want to be abandoned again? Mother Gue opened her mouth. Mila has been pampered since childhood. This room is what she's used to. I interrupted her. Since you won't even give me a room to stay in, I might as well go abroad. Hearing this, Mrs. Gu swallowed all her unwillingness. Ma Ju was brought back by Riedelu, but her timing was unfortunate. Mother Gue was wearing an apron and personally cooking my favorite spicy dishes. Father Guyu was gently serving me soup. And even the usually impatient Guyu was meticulously picking out fish bones and peeling shrimp for me. When Mila Gu returned, Mother Gue merely gave her a brief glance before quickly turning back to the kitchen. Before long, the pungent aroma of spicy food wafted from the kitchen. Ma Ju coughed repeatedly from the spiciness, looking at us in confusion as if she couldn't understand why. In just 2 short days, I seemed to have completely replaced her. Riedelu patted the disheartened girl beside him sympathetically and spoke with displeasure. Ma hasn't been able to eat these past 2 days, and even had thoughts of suicide. Now that she's finally back, She's faced with a table of unbearably spicy dishes she can't eat. Sage Shu, do you really have to be so selfish and domineering? As I watched his angry expression, I no longer felt even a trace of sadness in my heart. On the contrary, I found it quite appetizing. Ma Ju quickly realized that her room had been taken over by me, and her belongings were haphazardly stuffed into the storage room. She completely broke down, holding a pair of scissors to her neck, sobbing uncontrollably. Dad, Mom, do you no longer want your daughter? Is there even a place for me in this family anymore? Mrs. Gyu finally dropped her indifferent demeanor and became extremely tense. I saw Mr. Gu slightly furrow his brows and subtly pat her arm. He took out an iron key and tossed it in front of Ma Ju, his tone cold and stern. Your sister has finally come home. You should move out. After speaking, he turned his face away, clearly unwilling to say more to Ma Jiu, and instead began serving me food. Ma Jiu looked at the keys on the corner of the table, with a hint of confusion on her face. Reed Lu seized the opportunity to snatch the scissors from Ma Unk's hand. He picked up the keys and pulled Ma Gu away before leaving. He didn't forget to mock me. Those from orphanages sure have plenty of tricks up their sleeves. Father Gyu slammed his chopsticks on the table, angrily scolding Reed Lu for not knowing what's important. Mother Gyu softly comforted me, putting on the perfect act of a loving mother. Witnessing their sudden change in attitude, Gyu opened her mouth in confusion. Then, a look of sudden understanding flashed across his face. In less than 10 seconds, their figures disappeared around the corner, as if this well-acted show of winning people over had come to an end. As the one being courted, I leisurely sipped my soup. By the time the porcelain white bottom of the bowl was revealed, Reed Lu and Ma Jiu had returned before me. Behind them are my two bodyguards. Reed Lu looked impatient. Sage Shu, what do you mean by this? The response was a stack of white papers slapped across his face. I turned to Ma Gu and said leisurely, the things the Gilder gave me. Aren't they burning your hands to hold on to? The white paper fluttered to the ground, and in the end, Jiu couldn't resist his curiosity and picked it up. The young man quickly scanned the words on the paper. When he looked up again, his eyes were filled with disbelief and indignation. Ma Ju is actually the daughter of our former housekeeper. Mom and Dad, have you lost your minds? Her biological mother abandoned my real sister in an orphanage. And you've been doting on this imposter for over 20 years without a word. Now you're even protecting her at every turn. Secretly giving her the house Grandpa left for my sister. No wonder you've been acting so differently these past few days. It's a guilty conscience. Just a guilty conscience. I looked at the two children raised by the Gu family parents. One is a clueless green tea white lotus. The other a straightforward naive sweetheart. The key Mr. Ju threw to Ma Ju seemed utterly ordinary at first glance. In reality, it was the key to a villa in Hishi's famous retro-style villa district. This was originally meant to be a meeting gift from the Gu family patriarch to me through Mr. Gu. Mr. Gu deceived both sides. I told Grandpa Gu that I disliked the iron key, thinking the Gu family wanted to drive me out to live in a shabby house, so I refused in front of me. They staged another act of driving Ma Gu out to live elsewhere. This way, they could make Grandpa Ju dislike me, dispel his idea of changing Ma's surname, and preserve her status as the wealthy heiress. At the same time, it made me feel favored, thereby gaining my trust. Unfortunately, I came prepared as a member of the Gu family. As early as the day Ma Gu left, I had already added the old man's WeChat through Guyu. The truth was exposed. Mr. Gu slumped onto the sofa and began recounting a past incident. At the age of 18, he was in a car accident and urgently needed a blood transfusion, but he had the rare H-negative blood type. In the critical moment, it was Ma Unk's biological mother who appeared and saved him. Gyu asked with a puzzled expression. Dad, you made your lifesaver work as your family's nanny. The air froze for a moment. Father Ju explained that at the time, Grandpa and Grandma Gu wanted to repay her. So they sponsored her college education. It was she who felt undeserving and voluntarily came to the Gu to work. She doesn't sound like a bad person. Then how could she do something as disgusting as swapping children? I turned to look at Guyu who had spoken. HM. The spokesperson of humanity. Father Jiu looked at Ma Gu. His face momentarily dazed. He said, human hearts are fickle. In the end, Father Gio dismissed Ma Gio with the phrase merits offset faults. The key given by old Master Gio has also returned to my hands. Late at night, the image of Father Guz's dazed expression as he looked at Ma Gu surfaced in my mind. Ma Unk's appearance must largely resemble her mother's. Thus, Father Gui must have discovered the child swap very early on. You didn't come to me back then, but now you're bringing me back. Is it for the 10% stake in Luke Corporation? Or I clutched my waist and turned on my phone to send a message to the bodyguard. The bodyguard replied instantly. Even in the dead of night, the bodyguard didn't slack off at all. I opened the bodyguard company's Min program and quietly left 2 positive reviews. After Ma Gu left, I immediately sold all her belongings without hesitation. Mr. and Mrs. Gu didn't say anything. Instead, they treated me better and better, as if trying to make up for the past 20+ years. I watched their full of holes performance and only felt disgusted. Poor acting on stage is also a torment for the audience. After several days, seeing that I remained as indifferent as ever, the Guents finally gave up. But the facts proved that I had overthought it. Father Guli held a homecoming banquet for me. He lied to me, saying it was a relative's birthday party. Only when I arrived did I realize it was a celebration for my return. Father Gui even invited a crowd of reporters claiming it was to let the world know the joyous news of the Gu family's lost heirs being found. Shares jewelry houses. The Gu family parents exaggeratedly displayed their affection for me in front of the camera. Riedla didn't attend the banquet, but sent someone to ostentatiously deliver a pink diamond necklace the size of a pigeon's egg to me. The banquet video posted online attracted significant attention. They marveled at the Gu family's doting affection for me. They debated whether I was born lucky, having married into wealth, even before reuniting with my biological parents from a prominent family. As a result, many labels were attached to me. The Gu family's long-lost treasure. Finally recovered, the beloved daughter cherished by her wealthy parents, born with the luck of a golden carp. As I scrolled through several viral banquet videos with millions of likes online, I clearly realized they're desperate. In less than a week, a video of Mrs. Gu fainting at a charity event topped the trending charts. I frowned as I watched the video of the event. Realizing it was aimed at me, many netizens recognized her as the mother of the lucky fisher. Before long, news spread that Mrs. Gu needed a liver transplant. Since the liver can regenerate, netizens casually suggested that Mrs. Gu's children should get tested for a match at the banquet being the most favored. I was naturally the first to be singled out. Moreover, even Gu's mother's nephews and nieces voluntarily came to the hospital for matching as the biological daughter. How could I refuse? The result was as I expected. Only I was a match. In the hospital room, Mother Gu lay on the bed with pale lips. In the corner of the eye, a phone stood on the small table. Father Gui begged me to save Mother Gu's life. Meanwhile, Mother Gue weakly shook her head, saying she was sorry and couldn't let me harm my health for her sake again. The sound of a chair being dragged interrupted their conversation. I sat down with my legs crossed. They didn't expect this reaction from me, and all turned to look at me, facing their gazes. I said without hesitation, "I won't donate." Father Gu was stunned, then slapped his own head in frustration. "Right. I forgot in my panic that you're pregnant. You've already tested me by placing musk in my room. Stop pretending to be innocent now. I'm not pregnant, but I won't donate." Guy slammed the table and stood up, pointing at me. "It's just a liver, not a kidney. How can you be so heartless? She's our own mother." I couldn't stand his stupidity any longer and slapped him across the face. "What's her blood type? What's mine? Should I donate myself to be stir-fried for her?" Guyu was completely stunned, murmuring, "Didn't you say we were a match? You? What's your blood type?" I hinted meaningfully. "Same as your sister's. Panda blood." "You have panda blood, but Mom is type A." He looked blankly at his parents, unsure what kind of show this was. I stood up and walked to the door, not at all surprised to see a crowd of reporters. "Let's go. Let's check upstairs." Guyu hurriedly followed along. When the door was opened, Riedlu was feeding Ma Gu some fruit after half a month apart. Ma Ju had lost a significant amount of weight and was already critically ill. Riedlu stood up with a cold expression and pushed me away. "Sage Shu, Why did you bring so many reporters? A pair of hands steadied me from behind. It was Gu. He threw down the card he had just picked up from the bedside, pressed his lips together, and charged forward, grappling with Riedlu. Who the hell are you pushing? You deceived my sister's feelings, and now you want to scam her for a liver, too. How shameless can you two be? The reporter picked up the card, which bore the name Ma Gu. The one who needed a liver was Ma Gu. Half an hour later, the young man walked up to me, his face bruised and swollen. Sis, I wasn't lying to you with Mom and Dad. For some reason, I felt my nose tingling. I turned around. They must think you're too dumb and would mess things up. Sis, why are you leaving? Wait for me. Aren't you even a little touched? Emotions are incredibly complex things. My biological parents chose to place their affection on a daughter with no blood relation. Yet my younger brother abandoned the over a decade-long sibling bond he shared with Ma Gu, firmly choosing me instead. The internet has now descended into complete chaos. The real ARS faked a pregnancy to deceive others. The Guans set up a scheme to secure a liver for the fake Rs. The fake Rs was also the mistress who interfered in the real heiress's marriage. Netizens couldn't decide who to criticize first. Maggio simply responded with the innocent need no defense. Let's clear things up in dreams. I've released the surveillance footage of Gyu Zi causing trouble at the hospital. The fake pregnancy had its reasons, but Maju being the other woman is indisputable. Now netizens know exactly who to criticize. I moved out of the Gu family villa thinking that in the coming days, Mr. and Mrs. Gu along with Riedlu would definitely try every means to appear in front of me and annoy me. I simply decided to go on a trip. Am I that close to you? Why are you following me, sis? I'm still useful. I can carry your luggage. Please take me with you to play. After traveling outside for half a month, I received a call from the police station. It was Riedlu who reported me missing. Calculating the time, it was about time to go back. Seeing Riedlu again, his eyes were weary, his face covered in stubble. Sage, that was a human life. Isn't a doctor's duty to save people? Slap, I slapped him. Who was it that made me unable to practice medicine anymore? Don't you have any idea? Riedlu knelt before me. What will it take for you to save her? Divorce and split the assets equally. Riedlu was in a hurry. Before nightfall, the freshly issued divorce certificate was already in hand. In the hospital, Maju was already terminally ill. Do you think this is karma? Tears streamed down her face as she begged me to save her. I turned to leave, but Riedlu blocked my way. Sage Shu, are you trying to go back on your word? I laughed boldly. Is breaking a promise illegal? If it is, go ahead and call the police for bodyguards. Pushed Riedlu aside and escorted me out. Halfway through I turned back. A glimmer of hope flickered in Riedlu Unk's eyes. I didn't fulfill his wish, but I did point him in the right direction. Gyu Jinglong can save her. Gyu Jinglong is the name of Gu's father. Riedlu generously offered Gu's father 15% of the Lu Corporation's shares in exchange for a liver donation. After Ma's successful surgery, Riedlu immediately knelt down to propose. He said that after facing life and death, he finally realized who the most important person was. I removed Riedlu's parents from the blacklist. I casually created a group chat with the three of us, and told them about Riedlu's grand gesture of buying a liver at a high price. Now Lu's parents, who had been traveling around the world, couldn't sit still anymore. They flew back to the country overnight. But the matter was already settled. Not only could they not change it, but they also had to put in the effort to organize their son's engagement banquet. At the engagement banquet, Goose's parents, who were supposed to speak on stage as the bride's parents, suddenly didn't show up. The happy photo of the couple on the big screen suddenly changed to surveillance footage of Magu deliberately driving into me. The engagement banquet ended with the police taking Magu away. The already sparse guests left, murmuring among themselves. I sat at the very back, slowly removing my sunglasses and mask. Of course, I was the one who installed the surveillance. The absence of Gu's parents was also because I revealed the secret to Gu's mother that Ma Jiao is the illegitimate daughter of Gu's father. He said people's hearts are fickle. But it was Gu's father who changed first. He abandoned his savior and chose Gu's mother, who was from a family of equal social status. The woman, deceived by a scumbag in a fit of anger, secretly swapped 2 children. Riedlu wasn't wrong about one thing. He said those from orphanages have plenty of tricks up their sleeves. As an orphanage kid who fought her way through grad school, a PhD, and into a top-tier hospital, how could I not have some tricks of my own? From the very beginning, I was determined to make those who hurt me pay the price. Going abroad to recuperate was also a delaying tactic. But who knew things would change midway? And I returned home earlier than planned. Looking at it now, it might not be a bad thing after all. Riedlu saw me. He walked toward me with a complicated expression on his face. But I got ahead of him, got in the car and left. I sold the shares in my hand to Jeong Riedlu's cousin. After half a year, I returned to the Angel Research Institute. This time, I'm not an intern assistant but a partner. Guyu often sends me messages, he said. Not long after I left, the Liu family's business changed hands. The new CEO is Jeong, the daughter of Riedlu Unk's Aunt Riedlu, holding on to a small portion of shares, stayed in the Liu family's business to prove himself. He traded business secrets for projects. Jeong swiftly reported the matter to the police upon discovery. In the end, Riedlu was imprisoned for economic crimes, and all his personal assets were awarded to the company to compensate for its losses. At the age of 30, my name appeared for the first time in a drug registration document at the very end. But I am not discouraged, for in my heart dwells the bright moon sage, journeying 1,000 miles to carefree realms.